Good evening. On agenda, a new controversy that started with the government, with Minister Ms Bharti announcing her project to revive and look for river Saraswati, a river which some people feel is totally mythological and is a figment of others' imagination, and others feel that no, it's reality and it should be looked for. Now, one of our guests has brought in a bottle of Saraswati River. More on that in just a bit. First, just to look at how, when this controversy was breaking, the Supreme Court pulled up the government for not paying enough attention to the river Ganga.
मंत्रालय बहुत बड़ा है, उसमें से अगर एक अधिकारी सरस्वती की खोज में लग जाता है और हमारी एक ऑटोनमस बॉडी ग्राउंड वाटर रिचार्ज का एक हिस्सा, एक दो वैज्ञानिक उस काम में लग जाते हैं, तो इससे हमारी एनर्जी घटती नहीं है बल्कि बढ़ती है.
So our first talking point this evening, the hunt for Saraswati, why is it top priority? Now, our guest today, we have Ken Dixit. He's of the Archaeological Society of India. He retired from there. We also have Manoj Mishra, an activist who fights for the cause of Yamuna and other rivers, and Manu Bhatnagar, who's from INTAC, who is with the Natural Heritage Division there. Now, first of all, sir, Mr. Mishra, tell us where that bottle of Saraswati comes from. We thought, you know, it's dead and gone thousands of years ago.
See,
show us that.
This is absolutely wrong for anyone to say that Saraswati did not exist. The fact is, Saraswati is one of the earliest rivers mentioned in the Rig Veda. And where the location of Saraswati in Rig Veda was mentioned, a stream called as Saraswati is still there. The only difference is that that used to be a huge river. But this is a very small seasonal stream.
Now tell me, as a Yamuna activist, as an activist who also cares for other rivers like the Ganga, why does it make you angry that Ms Bharti is focusing on Saraswati and not on Ganga?
You see, Saraswati is like cheetah. When we say no species in this country should become another cheetah, similarly, no other river in this country should become Saraswati. That is our challenge. And rather address that challenge and rather look for rejuvenating, as you have yourself said, Ganga, Yamuna and other existing rivers. You are trying to restore a river that today exists only as a seasonal river.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense.
Okay, but Mr. Dixit, you of course don't agree. You think that it's great that the government is paying attention to this.
Certainly it should be given, because whatever our children, they are reading in Rigveda, Puranas and everywhere, this river is mentioned. And even they say that all the ancient epics and other things, they were written on the banks of this river. So now the question is this, whether it was flowing or not. And it was a very wide bed.
I think we're not going, sir. I think what we want to make sure to our viewers is that the debate about whether it existed or not, we're not getting into it because it's too, we're talking about priorities right now. So we just want to talk about that. Yeah.
The question is this, how you will say that whether it existed or not, because that is divided, that is based on the presence of the cultural remains. Because if there will be no river, why people will live
what
there?
What about what he is saying, that the fact is that Ganga, what the Supreme Court said, that the Ganga, they haven't got a game plan for the Ganga out yet. So don't you, I mean, why do you think the priority is right?
Priority is right in order to know the antiquity of the river,
okay,
or the bed of that. And now the recent data goes back to 7,500 BC.
Okay, so first 100 days, you think it should look at that. Do you agree, sir, Mr. Bhatnagar?
I think the priority should be on addressing rivers which are sick but still flowing.
Yeah.
We are talking about a river which is dead. We are talking about a river about which nobody is really certain in which course it actually flowed, from where it originated, whether it was in the Ganga basin or whether it was in the Indus basin or whether it was in its own basin.
Yeah.
So it's one thing to carry out research to establish these facts. It is important as a cultural landscape also. It is also important if there are underground aquifers which are still fed by an underground flow. I think it's useful to establish that. But at this point of time,
How is it useful?
if you have aquifers in
Then
the,
you can tap into it
you
for
can tap into
current
it
usage.
in such a arid area. I think that may be a very important and vital resource. But living rivers, I think, are important for action. This may be a point of research.
Okay, that's interesting. Now, what I want to ask some of the young people over here is, why is it that as soon as Ms Bharti mentioned the whole Saraswati angle, people got very upset on Twitter? You've seen the kind of reactions that have come in. It was front page news. Why is it that people feel so much about it? I just want to get a view from all of you. Who feels that it's a good thing or a bad thing or whatever? Yeah, go ahead.
It's a bad thing.
Why?
Of course, we have Ganga right now, which is like the condition of Ganga ain't well right now. So we should focus on Ganga rather than going for Saraswati. We can't waste that ample amount of money on a myth rather than going for Ganga, which we have right now, and many people are dependent on it.
Right.
Yeah, so we should actually focus on Ganga rather than going to Saraswati and start from scratch.
Okay, and you wanted to say something here?
It's one of those situations where if you turn up to be right, then it's for the good of humanity, man. We are lacking the drinking water and such. So if you turn up right, then you have new source of drinking water. But then again, at the same time, you are taking a really huge chance by devoting crores of money of taxpayers searching for something that you don't know, you don't even are certain about that.
Yeah,
it
Manoj
exists.
Mishra, would you agree with what they're saying? That because I think a lot of people would say, and you're of the Yamuna, Andolan, Abhiyan, people would say, look, I can see the Yamuna and it looks terrible. It hurts us. In Delhi, it hurts us to see it, and to see those pictures in newspapers with the white froth over it and the pollution there. So what is tangible and visible? Do you think the government should first fix that?
See, prioritization is extremely important. It is urgent because Yamuna, Ganga and many other rivers in this country, they are in very bad shape. But this fact should not take away the importance of a river like Saraswati. As far as research, trying to understand it more, let us understand why Saraswati disappeared. If it did.
You think it should be part of the 100-day agenda?
Not really.
No, that's what we are saying.
Not
Why?
part of 100-year agenda, 100-day agenda. But certainly, it's an important aspect of research, as Manuji has said.
Yeah.
Let us see if there is an underground, if there is an
Sure, but tell us why it shouldn't be part of the 100-day agenda.
Not at all,
Why?
because till today, you have no roadmap for Yamuna, you have no roadmap for Ganga. Whatever, there are some intentions which have been expressed, there are some names, Namami Gange. But what does Namami
been
Gange
coined
mean?
by Ms Bharti?
Yes.
Okay.
What does Namami Gange mean? What are the component of Namami Gange? And when you say we want to rejuvenate Ganga, you are talking of Aviral, Nirmal. How are you going to make Ganga Aviral? What is your roadmap for making Ganga Nirmal? Nothing is there in the public
even
domain.
for the activist community, even for others, you have no clarity that even though Narendra Modi came in and it was very good, people loved the fact that yes, he's focusing on an environmental issue like the Ganga, cleaning up here because that's his constituency as well in Banaras, but you're no wiser so many months later.
Absolutely.